Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show my workflow for creating interactive Keynote portfolios. This video will be a longer video, probably at least 10 minutes long, but I will show you efficiently and thoroughly how I create interactive portfolios. Let me give you a quick preview. This is not completed, but what I would do is here are 7 standards. I chose the ISTE standards for this, but absolutely any standard or classroom expectations can work for creating these portfolios. And then I simply use I would have each one of these be an interactive button. I'll show you those steps. And then they would take you to the corresponding slide. And then I would like a home button. I'll turn this into an interactive button that takes me back to here. And each one of these will take you to any button, to any page in any order. Let's get started. I'm here, so I will go to add a slide and I will simply choose a blank one. What I do next is I use the shapes to come up to use those beautiful circles. That seems to be effective for me. I simply come here and I type in the name of the standard. And let's do digital portfolio, or I should say digital citizen is what I meant to say. And at this stage, you can imagine me doing some formatting by clicking Format, choosing here and making it larger, maybe double clicking, possibly choosing a different text color, possibly choosing black to make it pop, maybe a different font if I chose. I'm not going to do all of these for each of them, but you can imagine me doing that for each one. At this stage, when I find one that I like, I would copy and paste. One thing that I would suggest is choose one that has the most characters, and then you can decide how large it is. So it looks like Computational Thinker might be my largest one. So in this situation, Computational Thinker would not fit. So I would need to do some pre-thinking on that. I think you can imagine what I'm doing here. Again, all I'm doing is I'm doing shape. I choose circle. You can make any shape work. And then if I can use the shift key to constrain it so that it stays as a perfect circle, or proportional, I should say, if it's not a circle. With that said, let's assume that I did that several times, went to shape, chose something new, and started working. So with that said, let's imagine that this page is done and it looks beautiful, and I have several of these. My next step is I would go to Add, and I would choose one of these pre-made templates and make it work well for me. I just did an update so it looks slightly different than the one that you have before. But let's pretend that this one works well. What I'm going to want to do next is I'm going to want to make a home page. I'm actually going to erase that on each one. Bear with me as I do this 6 more times. I should show you the steps that I actually follow. I would not suggest making 7 home buttons. I would suggest making 1 and then multiplying it 7 times. So again, I'm going to shape. I'm going to use my search bar up here to type in house, and I like this one a lot. It's a little bigger than I need. Again, I can use the shift button to make it stay proportional. I'll come down here. Now it's time to make this a link. So I'm going to click on it, select it. I'm going to hit Command K to turn it into a link. I could make it a link to my email, actually my phone number, which is great for mobile apps, or a web page, but for this I want to stay in slide. So I'll stay in slide, and I just need to know the number right here. Slide number 2 is my home page. And you can type it in if you have very long Keynote projects. So I'll click go to slide. Seems to work. I'll test one more time in presentation mode. Yep, it works. So from here, because I know it works, I'm just going to copy it, Command C, paste, Command V, Command V, Command V, Command V, total of 6 more times, and now each of these links work well. I would do a little bit of thought in advance to make sure that you can make every slide, every standard look well, and you may want to start with the one that has the most characters so that you know that your that it looks good even if there's lots of text. That is that. Let me show you how to make more internal links. And you're going to see a little microphone. Again, I found this in the shapes, and I usually use this to cue students when I make a template for them that I want them to record their voice. One thing that I also like is I actually ask students to not throw away, especially for ESL students, to not throw away their first versions. So sometimes they have 2, 3, 4 or more different recordings, and then I ask them to put their actual recording that they want me to grade on top of the microphone. I'm getting ahead of myself just a little bit here, and you might hear the jet ahead of me right now, but that will pass very soon. What we have next is I'm going to make an interactive link inside here. Before I make an interactive link, let me show you how I made this one. I'll actually cut this. If I want to make text a link that goes outside, for example, to the ISTE standards website, I'll do Command K again. And I need to make sure that it's a website, not email, phone number, or slide. And then maybe I'll type in ISTE website. Let me check my spelling. And the link, again, I'm pasting it from wherever that link is. I can click out here and it should work. And I can test it. It looks like it's going to work. And you can always see, you should be, oh, it's underlined, which signals that it is going to be a working link. If it's an element, you will see something else, which I'll show you very soon. You'll see this little arrow button, which shows that an element is made to be a link. Let's jump in. Let's turn Digital Citizen, actually I'll do it backwards. Let's do Knowledge Constructor. Let's make this Knowledge Constructor button connect to slide 9. I'm touching it. I would suggest doing the whole element and not just the text. I'm hitting Command K. My first name is Ken, so that might be one way to remember, or the last sound in the word link is K. So that's a good way to remember the abbreviation. And I want to go to a slide, and the slide is slide 9. So again, I can type it, or I can pick it from the pull-down menu. It seems to work well. I'm going to repeat the steps. Slide 8 is Innovative Designer. I'm choosing Innovative Designer, Command K, slide, typing in 8. That works. And this takes me back. So number 7 is Computational Thinker, Command K, slide, 7, done. 6 is Creative Communicator, Command K, slide, typing in 6, done. 5 is global, slide 5 is Global Collaborator. Again, I'll just do it this time. I'll let you remember in your head the steps. I think I remember correctly. 5, yep, for Global Collaborator. That is done. And yes, Command K was a step. Empowered Learner must be slide 4. Command K, slide, choose 4. And Digital Citizen must be slide 3. And if you have many, it might be faster to just simply write them down instead of doing all the clicking around. If you're modeling for students, that might also be easier to either walk through slowly or to write them down. But I wanted to be respectful of our time here. This does not need to be here, but you might want to have an introduction page. So that is done. Right now, if I click on Preview, I can click here and I'll go to the ISTE website. Yep, I'll go back. Sometimes I have the students type in their name and ask them to type in their email just so that they know that there is different ways to turn links to make them interactive. That's getting a little bit beside myself, so I'll click Empowered Learner. That works. I'll test each one, Global Collaborator. And in this workshop, as well as in classes, I suggest that people have a peer review partner and to make sure that all the links work and that it's intuitive to way how people would expect it to work. You might want to put a little might want to type to touch the buttons if you're just airdropping it. and students aren't seeing it real time, but it seems to be working very intuitive. Perhaps I would turn this into a link that explains the ISTE standards, or maybe to a page where I explain it. That works. I'm not going to go far into this for the sake of time, but let's just say that I'm typing in, I usually have students type in 5 sentences of reasons why they connect digital citizenship to one of their projects. And then what I have them do is I have them take a screenshot for one of their projects. They take a screenshot and they put it here, and then they need to turn that project into the screenshot into a link to the project. Let me show you really quickly how I do it. You could do, just for the sake of this, let's pretend that this is a student project that they completed. I'm hitting Command Shift 4. It's going to pop down here. I'm choosing Command Tab to come back. You could drag this in. You could do some resizing by double clicking and changing the way that it's cropped, etc. Change the sizing, etc. Whoops. I'm done. Now I can resize it after I accepted the new cropping. And I'm just going to completely freelance here and pretend that I'm the student recording my voice. So what I would have them do to record their voice after they typed in some sentences, I asked them to add more than just the bullet points to actually share some meaning. For this will be a pretty dry little fake recording. But to do the recording, I go up here to Media, and then I go right here to Record Audio. Right away, you get this recording down here, so I'll click Record. I would like to share the wonderful project that I did talking about the ISTE standards. I learned many things while doing this in class, and I think one of the most important things that I learned was A, B, C. And you can imagine how that would work, and I would just click Insert. Even though I'm recording, I should be able to hear a simple version of this, but normally it'd be nice and loud and crisp. I would like to share the wonderful project that I did talking about the ISTE standards. I learned many. If I like it, I would leave it down here. And when I click play, when I come to the slide, and if I click, I would like to share the wonderful project that I did, you would hear the student's voice, or your voice if you're doing your own portfolio. Those are the steps. I'll share one more simple thing that I didn't go far into before in my other shorter video, is you can also go to Media, Record Audio, hit Edit. Hey, I'm really excited to show you A, B, and C. When I click Stop, if I want, I can click Preview. Hey, and you'll see that I have had a false start and then a pause. I can click Edit right here, and I can choose this handlebar right here, and I can get rid of that false start and that pause. Now I'm not done. I do have to click the scissors for it to actually accept it, and now it'll be perfect. Hey, I'm really excited to so I'll click Done. And then I'd have to click Insert one more time. And again, if it's ESL students or any students, sometimes I have them record several to not throw away one, but to put their favorite one on top of the microphone. So I know that's the one they really want me to listen to. Honestly, that is mostly it. You can get creative with magic move and transitions, etc. But this is a bare bones of what it looks like. Let me show you let's assume that this is done, it's polished, it's peer reviewed, student did extra reflecting and made some edits. At the very end, what I have them do, and bear with me as I believe it's under File. Yes, it's under File, and Export to, then I do Movie. And when I'm in Movie, I can choose how large of a file, the quality, etc. I can choose if I want how quickly I want it to go to the next slide. I usually suggest 2 seconds because at this point they've already looked at the slide many times and they read it, they saw the input, and they heard the voice. And when you click Save, it's going to export. This is one that I'll trash. It's going to export a video, And of course, it doesn't do the interactive links, but it is a nice, polished audio and visual example of what the project looks like. It's not interactive at that point, but it is quite nice. So I wanted to share that with you. And sometimes students understand that it's not interactive, so they actually change their voice a little bit or change the layout. And it's cool that they think about how the media could be received by different audiences. So that is my workflow of how I work through it, and I just wanted to share that with you. Of course, I'm available to give more help if you want, but I think that this is enough to get you started. Please reach out if I can help in any way.